all clear and we get the green for go. And Fambulem, I want to tell you thank you, and let me just get to this quickly. The guest is none other but Madam Femi Claudius Cole. She's heavy, she's prominent. She was a 2018 presidential candidate. And imagine now a patriarchal society. This is now one of the few women who are standing tall. Femi, welcome to the program this evening.
Thank you very much. I don't look forward to that.
I know. And again, apologies, here for the glitch we get earlier on. Femi, and if you can permit me, the way they call you first name self, like say it's so personal, I hope say you don't mind.
That's fine. That's fine. My conversation with they can't keep comping.
Thank you very much. And that's what I like for say I'm not to interview, I keep comping conversation. Thank you so much. I'm not one for speculate. No one for think waiting you think, but as a matter of fact, based on the subject matter this evening, which is our democracy in decline. If you don't mind, forgive Fambulem, your thoughts, your sentiment and perspective, please. What do you think about your country in terms of democracy in decline or the state of the country?
Wow, the state of the country, they give. I think everybody will live here, cause for worry. It begin slowly with a worry about this, with the see injustices there here and there. Look and say, isolated incidences. But right now, I think say we don't reach to the edge for that we all fall over now, whereby we see a total disrespect for the rule of law. We see a total disrespect, standing in the bone me chest, a disrespect for the Constitution of Sierra Leone, where people, the political party in power, the government, the cabinet, the administration, then they look at the Constitution with an element of now I don't care. Now the Constitution are just an inconvenient document. We'll not get time for this. Where we they talk about power, you they talk about Constitution. And it is worrisome. If you see a blatant disrespect for the Constitution, we are all in trouble. We all they in trouble. Because Nadande na for be with Bible. Like how if you're not Christian, you go take the Holy Book, you're not Muslim, you go take the Quran. Now, so the country for really take in Constitution. If things they were not fine, okay, we only engage, we change them. But when you see an administration, they come into power on the promises of change, of good governance, of inclusive governance, of women empowerment, of justice, we were, I'm not gonna lie, I'll be hopeful because never mind when you lost an election, people expect you to be bitter. I was not bitter, not at all. Why? Because of the will of the people. And if you not personally the advocate for democracy, you can forget high respect for when the people speak. For let you say, okay, now this we want. Now, if President Bill is able to fix Sierra Leone to a certain degree, okay, we go on that path where we know say this salon they come sweet for we all for put an on that. So me for one, I not ever start the conversation with any kind of animosity or anything like that. I have to say, would I ever been for win na salon, be forget a very tough task, especially in the beginning. So we say, well, let me give the president chance, get for fanning feet and staff, put everything in place. So we say, well, let me wait and see. But straight from the honeymoon, period, that's the yawo in close, they're not anger yet, in flower, they're not die yet. Now they begin pass we balloon. The first one where they do, where I know say this speaking where them born say not get for better in this world. Now when them pull elected Now the bastardization of the constitution, now they begin for this bill administration. When they pull their MPs, then come on a power, about 10 of them. The constitution say, when you do that, if you get reason for do that, it is right for let you pull them. But the constitution say, you for run a by-election. If I be a by-election, what we see, it pleased His Excellency to appoint, with help of the judiciary, they appoint people then. From that moment, now I don't know say this speaking. We don't born no more, but it got stronger. So from that inception, now they will begin to see the violation of the constitution with blatant disregard for them. From that point they now run down with us, they run down. I don't know if na gutter na they one care we go, or if na the ocean they one care we go. We see indiscriminate killing of innocent people. We see by-elections turning into, I don't know what's in the by-election they turn to now. We see powers that be, all of them gravitating towards by-election. This power na serious case. So we see people that they lost their life in a by-election. We see in a Mion constituency 110. We see ministers, high political players, government cabinet ministers, they all converge. Election boxes were violated. Not to say they do a secret, they not pull cover themselves in full view of public. On camera, on audio, we see them. Not a single person was held accountable.
Yeah.
And well, now the honeymoon down there, now so we begin the game.
Okay.
Who say we there now? Papa, who say we there now? We they see blatantly 0.49, they turn to 1049. This government is unbelievable. For the number of PhD people that we pack inside there, the number of bookmen that we pack inside there, then sure they do some very, very stupid things. But I don't know self say, I don't go call them stupidity. I go call them wickedness. Some of what then they do to Sierra Leonean people tantamount to wickedness. And then the part where I can find baffling. Now, for somebody who can at the game this last minute, not call her last minute, now 5 years now. Yeah. I don't learn Boku. And one big thing where I don't learn, if person not go school, it not mean to say you're not clever. If person not go school, not mean to say you not get common sense. But then they assume, say, the people of Sierra Leone, we all namunku. If we're not Omunku, we're not Mumu. And me, I refuse for buy that idea there. I don't buy them. Sierra Leonean people are clever, whether they go to school or not. They get discernment, whether they're religious or not. If this government really and truly become for me and you, but inside 3 years, we not for don't see her.
Yeah.
We for don't begin for see her. The other day, they count the president in motorcade. I counted 31 vehicles. This is a man will just come up and climate change.
Okay, Femi. Fambulem, I just want to tell you, say again, the Uma we get, as soon as see just the opening salvo. So there is more to come. And it already encapsulates the entire interview in this initial, introduction, to the program itself. And I really appreciate for doing such. For Una, we just join with the ask Una, let we do the needful, let we shape this program, let go far and wide. Because talking, although me can believe in substance, but sometimes they get for begin from talking. So yes, we don't talk a lot, and the hour they reach for substance. Substance probably in now voting, and voting they come soon. We don't see a few of the things that Naindi Mami mentioned just now. So Again, we get none other but Femi Claudius Cole on the program here tonight on the Den and Now Media Empire. And I'm really, really excited for Getam and Unadoye the opening salvo. Madam Femi Claudius Cole, recently, of course, we witnessed a calamity, something we want to call a premonition in the country, because we didn't think that happen, the loss of lives and that kind of skill, that kind of magnitude, they come as a consequence of nothing. There's always something where they come out of this and we lead to run. But in the end, we lost dozens and dozens and dozens of we compatriots them. So I've been just one for use this occasion for express me sympathy and deepest condolences to the family. And I've been one give you chance for let yourself weigh in this recent calamity, which you get for say as a stakeholder in the country.
That kind of disaster, to me, we sympathize with the family, we make statements, we talk beaucoup, but then families and they are wounded from now so to go. Nothing other than me, you, or any politician or any reverend or imam go say, we go make them one that we left behind, or even the one that we get for left with injuries, for take courage. Not only time and faith, now can go on for them. So I really sympathize with the families. I really do, especially the young people that we those overnights and just they don't get mama, overnights and just they don't get papa, and what a horrible way for let anybody die.
Yeah.
But when that moment of disbelief don't come over you, the realization of what don't happen. Then say within 3 days morning, then say not for politicize them. If any politician talk na politicize with the politicizer. Well, some situation and they call for let me talk politics, how politics they impact their life. If we ask the question, is the government responsible? Is the government responsible? Anything the way the government do, will be for able for save them people and their life? Maybe yes, maybe no. But the question where I go through, so the person will go and accuse me, say, I then talk politics on this issue, is if, like a una so where they abroad, if tank at Boston and New York, or tank at Boston and Chicago, or tank at Boston and London or Birmingham, people then go rush go there for go get a fuel.
No.
And all man where they England and America, they're all sabibu, they're all literate. Or una self get the clever one, una get the fool munku then self back there. Una get the ignorant one and they una get the clever one and they. Una we no more get it. I think say then they all say.
Yeah.
But they no go rush go there for go collect that fuel there for a specific reason. When you tap na then country then day, where you day you not get nothing. Nothing. If you sick, you go hospital and still go menu. And then go menu well. If you don't get what you they eat, you go sign on, you go get dole money, so then I dole them in the collar. I mean not waiting in the corner now. You go get food stamp if in America you did. But the government will give you small thing for letting you not disgrace.
Yeah.
Here now we on setting. When you not get nothing, to me God you not get nothing. You they die with angry, you they die with sick, you they even die from injustice. So what's it make when that tanker did boss, we see people and rush go there. The vice president talk one thing way. I don't know no more. You not fine for call person name. But the kind thing where the vice president talk is say na ignorance. And the BBC reporter ask him to treat them. He said poverty didn't have an impact. He said, well, you know, if he's saying a poverty, if he's saying a ignorance. You know what I say to that? I say back to sender. Because When 1 liter petrol don't be 10,000 leons.
Yeah.
Also you get 1 butter, that's not 20 liter. You don't get 200,000. If you brave enough for go try chance, you will get 3 butter. You don't get 600,000.
Yeah.
You don't buy 1 bag rice. So when you see that thing they happen, you see people then they rush. Not to say they don't know the risk. Then weigh the benefits of that money they looking inside my pocket, 1 cent no they. Then picking them then I was angry. I no don't cook na me 3 days this. I they buy 3,000, 5,000 cookery. Then I the naked cookery, no beef, no for waist, no they, for foot, no they. I can see also they can get 1 3 butter. This me pot the boil if not for the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks. If not 1 bag rest, they carry bandong now. So don't tell me it isn't poverty.
Yeah.
Don't tell me it isn't the impossible cost of living. That girl where you see the dance, they dance because you know what's in that money they go do for them. She wasn't dancing because she was taking a risk. She wasn't dancing because she thought there was a possibility of danger. At that moment, you are thinking, my survival, I need this money. If I able get this fuel, I sell her, they go sell her. And know what I go do with that money. Those people collecting fuel, now few no more been they will get bike and keke. Most of them when they collect and for go sell back. So, is there something we could do? Is there something we should do? Plan them the way before they make now for avatar. Well, at the give na Facebook, some people then say them for put law, say they're not for sell Ijebu fuel. So they don't equate the gather of the fuel and ban the Ijebu. So me, I don't understand how I would think. So I talked to a good friend, a sister today, now they tell her, because they want for really, I see Mr. Mengot self one push this idea, say, for ban Ijebu. We are we up much from this smaller big.
Yeah,
Why
of course, go
Ijebu?
ahead. I'll get Mr. Mengot on Tuesday. They on the platform on Tuesday. So this will help.
Well, I hope say they watch back today. I hope say they watch me now because I try for message jam, but yeah. I don't type message to him, but I don't go. So I hope say himself they watch and he go.
I sure say they on the platform, yeah.
He go message me. So
Okay.
Mr. No, so now address that in the way they talk. Where I understand who say they come off from. Not to say I don't understand. Not to fool a fool. Now realistic and realistic. What to make Ijebu? Now you they get Ijebu, Donda Street, Campbell Street, Congo Cross, Wilkinson Road. We not go East State too. Why Ijebu they do good business? Not so because the fuel cheaper. The fuel is actually much more expensive, and the liter, not a full liter. Oh, I know because I don't buy. Now, why then they do good business? Now, because, say for example, like when me and you they talk now, we don't get light 3 days. You know, remember say for buy fuel for me generator. Now you they talk to me, light hot. I want Allah say when I go light that machine, fuel no day. It is 11:30 at night, or maybe it is midnight. Let us say it is 11. There is nowhere in Sierra Leone where you will find a single fuel station open. My only option will be for one go by Ijebuna Donda Street or Campbell Street, or one go Congo Cross, I go by. They are serving a purpose. If to say like a unan usayu day, if not 3 o'clock morning I want buy petrol, I go na self-service station, I go buy. The other time, I did drive during the election time, me and my team would go Kujeon. Me drive away saying Sabi Kujeon, end up the me go near Guinea and Liberia border. When we don't go say we begin look the tank don't nearly the guy. Now I say trouble. I say we get for fuel. There was not a single fuel station at all, nothing. We begin knock na then village host the no more we able find Ijebu. So I know they say as support for let themselves feel na them also na fire risk. But they serve a purpose. And they now the income. It's a dangerous business, but it's a business nonetheless. So how do we legislate it so that they are safe? Put petrol station them on your remote roads. Some of your remote roads, especially the road to Liberia, the road to Guinea, the road, put petrol station, then one. Even within the city, okay, you can say you not put in another area than they because they are remote. Okay, within the city, mirror tap side street. If it is 11:30 at night, I'm not on by fuel, I'm stuck. The only place I can go now Ijebu. So if you say you want ban Ijebu, then give an incentive to the stations to open late. Then during the day, police they harass them keke and then motorbike. So I discover say Boku now they prefer for ride nanet. So man police don't monitor for avoid. If they sleep santem nanet, it take Okada, it walk. When him begin walk now nanet, there's no fuel stations open. So it just get for buy.
Okay. Thank you so much for that. And again, once more, we pray for the deceased soul, them, let them rest in peace, and let the family, them, let God give them strength. Because these times are no easy times. And we talk to Femi Claudius Cole, a stakeholder in the Sierra Leone political spectrum, where they help we for understand and waiting key in this particular thing where the Mami just talked so. Now the issue of poverty, waiting we see is just a symptom of the disease. It's poverty. And those of us where they are broad, like he actually articulate, where they say like people and they understand the risk and see the risk, they also need for weigh the balance for understand say, when you find yourself in that situation, the way Araga no day, that's what actually happens. The risk is secondary. Waiting for gain from there is primary. Thank you so much. Femi, let me go into politics, here now. You're not a politician. So let me talk a bit of politics, okay? You have been 2018 presidential candidate and party leader. You formed your own party inside a patriarchal society, Unity Party, and you've done quite well. Just the idea of still standing and standing tall. But also away from Unity Party, there is this conglomeration of political party that we want to call COP. So I want to ask you, where is COP today? Because it's come a long way, and in a relationship with PPRC, we're supposed to regulate political party them and tell me waiting at the balance and waiting at the situation between you and COP. I mean COP and PPRC and COP, if you will, please.
Well, I think to say we don't get it started off as a very rocky relationship. But now we oversight body. Then now I can say now we parents body then that one day. And if you picking them the feds amongst themselves, or then they get chamot amongst themselves, what do you the parents do? You they put an the ring, say you pull close, una feds, una win una kanak na me window. I mean, you don't do that. You take on a position of mediation. You listen. You see where there's middle road. In any story, there's the truth, there's the right side, the wrong side, and the truth. And you go only arrive at the truth if you listen to both sides. But what we had discovered with PPRC was, it looked like I say, the arts industry look bam because of COP. When we first begin establish COP, we send a letter. We say we don't form this organization, and we want for can talk to una, for can tell una who that we be, wait to make we form them and introduce ourselves formally to them. So instead of saying, well, una get small thing they won't agree with, but anyway, una kala ukaya una. Then we go tell una who say we vex una or who say una they go wrong. But that did not happen. Then simply send we letter say, because of certain individuals that were in a COP, because of certain blah blah blah, we are not going to talk to you. It's a loose organization. Just like how APA was a loose organization. But we see you embracing APA with 2 arms and 2 legs. But yet still you do not want to talk to us. So we are like, fine. We don't make the attempt for talk to Una. Una decides say Una no one for get anything for do it with them, fine. But I think as they themselves saw as COP was gaining momentum, COP was getting things right, COP was focused on the issues. COP not a go lebele, go na vice president's office, go beg for money for convention. COP not a go ya, go beg for this. COP not a go yanda, go do all them things there. So I think to say, we begin and sorry for a second. We
That's
begin
right.
and the respect. We begin make ourselves very much relevant by we were sticking with issues. And not only that, COP begin for actually mediate within political parties. What to make this party defeat within themselves? Well, how can COP come in? How can COP help? So I think to say when they begin for see that action, their attitude, and we get a few contentious moments there where we all meet na media, na SLBC and AYV and other places where we say not Omunkwe and we not Omumu. So we self mean effect small fire with small fire. And we talk no loss now remote. Like a miso at one point, chairman, me and to make peace, we are now good friends. But chairman went on radio saying that me office, me not even get office. When I can have me office, then see signboard there for rent. I say, boy, person get 3-story building, you not gonna get 1 floor. Bad. Chairman, you came to my office. Nobody not been there. But that doesn't mean I cannot get a floor if I want to. Anyway, we don't make peace now. I think we've moved beyond that point. We begin for really develop a better working relationship. And you know, we have a lot of respect for our chairman. And so we have a better working relationship.
To get a better working relationship.
Yes, and when to make that relationship, they look better.
Okay.
They organized. You remember saying rumor being come out say they want increase registration fee.
Yes, I mean they go ask you now from 2.5 million to 100 million.
So 100, yes. So
yeah, I will expect your perspective on that as well.
Party leader like me, I may not pull close for fete. I mean inside the boxing, I don't follow me blow. I'm like, look, this they affect me personally. They affect me party. I'm already registered. But it affects for the next political party where they can be early. We go on for register. So when you make laws and you put rules, not make law because you want to victimize them and the way they around you where you not like. Tomorrow your daughter might be a leader of a political party. Your son might want to start a political party, which is his right or her right. So don't make the fee in such a way that you close the democratic space.
So Femi, I'll ask you because, this before you go further, because you make series of what I will call, I will refer to as allegation there, and I will let you inform family whether there is any evidence to that. In other words, closing up the political space. Are you implying I make them increase the money from 2.5 and to 100 million? And if that's the case, do you have any proof?
Okay, let give you a proof.
Okay.
The Constitution says that for as long as you are a citizen, for as long as you meet criteria A, B, and C, you can form a political party. It doesn't say only the wealthy can form a political party. It doesn't say only the most beautiful, the most sexy can form a political party. It says you only need to be a Sierra Leonean. Meet X criteria, Y criteria in terms of your offices, blah, 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 and you can form a political party. If you make the cost prohibitive from, if I take less than a 500 for bag, I say yes na poor man chop. Then I increase rest to 2 million for bag. That's I don't tell you the poor man say, go back to Gary or eat breeze. By making the price so high, you're cutting people out. That was our point. You do not want to close the political space, the democratic space. You want to leave it open. You look, and when you were putting the price at 100 million, some of your justification by virtue of your consultant was that he looked at other African countries. So I did my research too, and I looked at other African countries. Are we going to copy everything other African countries are doing? Shall we? Because in African countries, most of them do not have a PPIC. They're all on the neck. So why don't we just copy everything? No, we are not. We're going to make ours tailor-made for our environment. Can you compare the level of income in Nigeria to the level of income in Ghana to Sierra Leone? Are you going to compare the level of employment and unemployment? You cannot. You have to tailor-make our own to suit our environment. I understand what they were thinking. They don't want nonsense candidates. But let me assure you, even at 2.5 million registration fee, renting offices, sir, is no child's play. It's not for little girls or little boys. Some are charging 15, 20 million for a rent, a small pokey rent in Bo, or a small pokey rent in Kenema or Makeni. So by the time you're done establishing what you need to register, you have already spent quite a lot of money.
Femi, so, let me interject there. I know say you did in a flow, but just for time constraint, because we get so much for cover on this same issue where you talk about, and for play the devil's advocate if you go like. You don't want any Jack and Harry for just a form political party and can occupy the space. You actually, as a serious political figure, go want serious other people them we go able to form political party them and join una for take the struggle go forward. So in other words, any afford 2.5 million, and like you say, the criteria say if you are of good reasoning, sound Sierra Leonean, and etc., then you can form a political party. But when you extend them fees, then they, although it sound disproportionate in many respects, but it also implies it now people then with some serious responsibility be able to fend them kind money then they and can occupy this space for join serious people like Una or carry this argument go forward. How do you see that? Because you can't just bash the PPRC for taking those steps.
I won't bash them, but their original idea of 100 million deserved criticism. It deserved it, and that's why we criticized it. The logic behind having the fee high enough where you keep a nonsense candidate out, I see it. I understand it. My point I am making also is that in order for you to be registered, that 2.5 is merely the tip of the iceberg in what you have to spend. So a nonsense candidate, if for want of a better word, will be deterred right there because of the problems of acquiring all these offices. Can you imagine the cost of renting an office in Freetown? You are charged in dollars. So, and secondly, if the Constitution says you can, then you can. If you do not like the Constitution, the way it is worded, then let us have the constitutional review. We've been asking for it for a long time, and then we can change it. But if the Constitution says you have 2 legs, 2 arms, and you have a semi-functioning brain, you can do this or you can do that, then that is what the Constitution says. You cannot cut and paste the Constitution willy-nilly. You're either going to obey it in its entirety, or you amend it, or you review it, or you change it. but you will not cut and paste. No, it is not a WhatsApp.
Okay.
So we agreed. So they had a 3-day conference, which we agreed that it should go up. So we agreed it will go up to 30 million. I think they were not happy, but it was a compromise. But that 3-day conference, to wrap up on that topic, gave us an opportunity to really to work with them. And I think it was mutually beneficial to them and to us. And they realized that COP, we're not a bet, we're not a it's mortal man, and we love the country Sierra Leone. And we were simply advocating for the right thing to be done. So, as I said, we have an improved relationship.
Yes, Femi, Fambulem, they talked to 2018 presidential female candidate and founder of the Unity Party, Madam Femi Claudius Cole, and we talk about issues regarding PPRC, we're supposed to conduct and regulate political party in the country and make sure say the relationship is warm and kind of receptive. And from which I understand from Madam Femi Claudius Cole, there were contentious moments in the past, and it looked like say una don, sort of broke ground where una defend una self in a friendly atmosphere, bit by bit.
Cordial
relation. Okay, yeah.
We're not friendly good.
We're not friendly good, but cordiality. So una defend common ground. One of the issue them, and maybe I will come back to this. Many other issues then, but we talk about issues regarding political reforms, like RRF forms, for example. A person like you don't go to media, you don't express them thoughts there, and you feel strongly, and what they understand about you is like when you feel it, you say it. This is not the kind of person we at the beginning foresee in you. What are you view regarding the RRF form there? And the same PPRC we talk about. And we talk about political pluralism, even though we don't break common ground. How satisfied are you, Femi, with the issue that I just mentioned? The PPRC are reforms and then political pluralism, the space operate.
I want to make we compartmentalize and small. When we're talking about the IRF forms, I want us to talk about NEC.
Yeah.
PPIC, I think say we don't. It's a work in progress. Us getting to, I think there's more respect between us and the PPRC mutually, from them to us and from us to them. And I think that relationship will improve gradually. That animosity not really there again. But there's still areas that there's still a lot of room for improvement on their part too. And one of the key issues that I have is the unseen hand. The concept of the unseen hand is the government sticking their fingers into everybody's pie and wanting to manipulate it. And for as long as you have those unseen hands in PPRC, in NEC, in the judiciary, in the police, the problem will never go away. Because they rob them of their independence. And why are they honorable? Is it a question of job security? I don't know, because for me, my integrity will be paramount to that job security. If you're going to give me a job to do, I will do it to the best of my ability. And the day that it ceases to please you, it is your pleasure to fire me. But I will not hold an office. You give me the cow, then you hold the rope. Any minute you the jack me neck, any minute you the jack me neck. And this government does it. And maybe prior governments too have not been innocent either. In that you can see the machinery of the government, you see it in ACC, you see it in the judiciary, you see it everywhere. And for as long as you have that orders from above, they are robbed of their independence. And you will see a man of caliber, a man that you had high regard and respect for, doing things that you doubt. Say, for Christ's sake, man, I know they must be paying you well, but at the end of the night, you need to go home and sleep on your pillow and talk to your God.
Yeah.
Why does the government consistently put people in these positions where they feel obliged to please you? Is it the money that you're paying them is so enticing that one almost has to balance their integrity with their job security? It's a very sad situation.
Yeah,
And
Femi.
I think,
yeah, go on and close that part, please. Yeah.
no, so I think that is one of our biggest problems, that the institutions are no longer independent. And when reports like the EU reports comes out, they're all up in arms. And even the meaning of the word perception gets lost in the shuffle. They ask, who did they talk to? Who did they talk to? Who did tell them all this? Well, I, for one, told them. I had
So
a
you put
meeting,
your hands
we had a
up on
meeting
that.
with EU. So I, for one, was one of those that told them. And if you want to know, you can just log into EU's website. It is all there, who they spoke to, and everything is there.
Yeah.
So what do we do?
So not so strange thing. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, it's not a strange thing. We know the people that we talk to them. It's not like magic. When the EU come and compile and report, and I've said it, you get CSO then are gone, you get NGOs then are gone, then get them people then are gone, you get political parties then are gone. So now out of the compiling reports, not to make up things. Now something informed the report. Many thanks for that, Madam Femi Claudius Cole. And Fambulen, like I say again, we they talk to none other but Madam Femi Claudius Cole, a 2018 presidential female candidate, I must always add, and currently the leader for COPPP, when our conglomeration of political party them, and we just they talk about PPRC and the relationship. But we get so much for talk about again tonight that we wonder whether time go permit we. For example, we want to talk about COP26 climate change, and every step along the way you Cole, she's ahead of the conversation because it intimate in every question where they answer something we want to talk about. Very smart lady, I must say. So I want to jump to SLRSA quickly, and we will spend short time on this one. But before we go there, I want for inform we continue for share. And this conversation is very, very important. There's a lot of talking that is being done, but action time is just around the corner. So I want for let we take a quick commercial break if we can. This will be with first commercial break. And I want for the cost constraint we sponsor and get for Forgive We as this now the on this part evening. And just for inform Fambulem as well, we don't begin to advertise na the platform. So if you get your business entity, organization, but and pretty soon we will begin for do funeral business, please contact us. The contact details are on the ticker where you see at the bottom of the screen. So let me just go to
it shock you, it shock you.
Wow, I like the setup and decor. Quite impressive.
You've not seen anything yet. Wait until you taste the food.
I can't wait.
In a sense, money making.
Look at that.
I am sharper than knife, I am sharper than nail. Them are small like ant, I am bigger than whale. When Baba God don't lift you up, nobody will make you drop. Nobody will make you.
In Britain, we do of African food and seafood as well. In Peckham, we do more of African food.
A reception or function of any type, this is the place to do. Just do your booking on time and we can do catering for you.
This to the detail una see there, and just like you hear in the background, this is the place to be. I've been there many times, and as a matter of fact, I did spend some time at this particular venue last night, and everything that you expect and even beyond, you can find on there. And the services was good, the food was good, and I had such a great time. So whenever you are in London, please make sure you visit Mingles, and there are other several Sierra Leonean bar and restaurants which are doing quite well. And they wait for them, video them, so we can also program the adverts for them particular functions there. But ladies and gentlemen, as for tonight, we have none other but Madam Femi Claudius Cole, a 2018 presidential candidate. And we want to talk about SLRSA, but before we do so, let's play one short video for Una.
My name is Femi Claudius Cole. Me na the chairperson for Unity Party, and me na the chairperson for the Consortium of Progressive Political Parties, what they call COP. Now, our Minister of Transport and Aviation, I want to congratulate them and another ministry. They will pull news for we, but the new laws the way they put for driver's license. I want to congratulate them and say they really don't do a very good job. But one area there of this new policy where I want Rob Motspan. That area there, na the side way una they say anybody way they can take driver's license newly for the first time to drive in school. Now, I don't do me research. The number of driving schools within the one whole country, first of all, now 11. The cost of the driving school, they begin from 600,000 leons. Now, I don't understand who that go outside we go land this new pattern where feel say everybody pa opa for go driving school. Now, I want to advise you now, that part of the policy there is bad. Why are they say it bad? Number one, you want to tell me say that person want to take driving license na Kabala, na Falaba, again for Camp Freetown or Bo for go driving school? It don't make no sense. Whosoever person learn for drive, it's okay. We agree. Let the person learn for drive. If na your mama teach him, if na your papa teach him, no problem. The same way the ministry they come in, now in the driving test. If now you monkey been teach you for drive, it teach you for drive fine, it teach you the road sign, where you go, SLRA, you go pass. Some man they did, then they go driving school, then they come out driving school, me pay for one me staff for go driving school. After I don't spend nearly 750,000 in able to drive for dust. Now me end up back. Still don't return at the motor car.
That's a 4-minute long clip by Madam Femi Claudius Cole, but we get a gist of the story. So one get the opportunity, make it explain to you what it actually mean, because in light of the recent accident at Freetown, we talk about briefly, and other vehicle safety and road safety measures, it sounds like say the body will be responsible about that things and waiting people they need for do and how they need to get that. But Madam Femi Claudius Cole don't fix this video. They inform people something way very critical, and you get for listening very well for let you get to what they see. But on top of it, if you're not listening very well, it's like but what's wrong? SLRSA, they say people and forget driver's license for drive a car. So Madam Femi Claudius Cole, what have you been actually trying to say on this video where you release?
No, the policy where then they say the area where I get issue with is the fact that una want make driving school mandatory. What it mean they say is it doesn't matter who that teach you for as long as you are well taught. The same way important at the driving test. When person don't land on, it can't to you for can test. Your test should be comprehensive, where you're able to establish is this individual a safe driver or not? Is to be the road sign or not? But what will happen and what happens now is you sit down and you owe, you send the money, go, you license committee and you owe. Now, when you add mandatory driving school, you have to remember most of the people who are driving either didn't go to high school, they have little or no education, they are low income, boku na apprentice, where the driver teach apprentice for drive, or like me, na me teach me two pikin for drive. When they went for their driving test, they passed because they were well taught by me. If I not been teach them well, when they go for the driving test, they would fail. And for una abroad, we all family, we all will take British driving test. I don't know if you don't hear anybody British driving test. In those days, it was a war for let you pass. That's when they not be even get written, but for let you pass. So Monday you don't take British test 10-10. I can always ask me up for say me na one of them people and they way I know with pride. I go say I take British driver's test once. You know that teach me for drive?
No.
Now one me drive and a salon. Now you teach me how for drive. Me driver will be they teach me now Abdul.
Okay. I think Madam Femi.
Now people and they fail now. My sister said tell me, say you not going to pass Femi. I pass my Abdul 9 teach me. Abdul 9 teach me. The driving test way I go take the I just hire the car for a day before the day of the test. You don't. Now I pay instructor for. So it doesn't matter who teaches you. What SLIA should be focused on is how credible the exam is. It has to be credible. It has to be suitable for those who are not lettered. If not, driving again becomes for a small percentage of the population. But now they leave.
Okay.
So
Femi, you don't actually, because this sounds almost like a framework for inform a potential policy outcome. And obviously, SLRSA don't come out with waiting we go term or deem as policy, but then the policy not seem to be well informed on the basis of the research where you don't conduct. So saying this on social media is good, but you don't draft something, here to them, to the government, to newspapers, on the basis of which you did talk about. So
I put out that video, and I don't say I have business to do in UU building. I don't say I get for go visit Honorable Cabinet, where I know him and he knows me, and I think say I go and get a one-on-one conversation with him. I say this is an avenue for corruption, because for that person wait up inside Tonkolili Maboka, you not get driving school. They don't have accommodation when they come to Freetown. They may not have somewhere to stay. They may not, for come up, Cambia can Freetown now, 60,000 one way. If they come for can driving school, will you do it in a day? You're going to do it over a month.
No, you wouldn't. And this brings me back again to something very central to your political arguments all of the time, which is issues around decentralization.
Exactly.
Tell me a little bit more, because I know we won't go into that because this is heavy. We can't just brush over them, but just tell me a little bit about your fight with moving forward with the issues of organization and how are you currently with this?
So the decentralization policy, we said then as COP, we say now, not to the whole, we didn't want to throw away the baby with the bathwater. We never did. There were sections of that decentralization policy that were defective. As defective as this part. The driver's license, everything is good. It's going to be like a bio, have the bio details and all that on it. It's good. All we were saying is one portion. So similarly with the decentralization, the bulk of the decentralization policy was sound. It was sound. And even there are more areas that should be devolved. So a man does not need to come to Freetown to get a passport. Yeah. He doesn't have to come to Freetown to get Salon ID. you know. So there were areas of that policy which we thought were brilliant, but they inserted particular areas into that policy that a councillor should have WASP, whilst the MP and the president need only read and write. Does it make sense to you? So you can have a stupid president but a smart councillor. So that portion of it and removing political parties from it was where we had an issue. But I'm thankful to say on that one, COP scored.
Okay.
Score on that one.
Fambulem, we talk to none other but Madam Femi Claudius Cole, a 2018 female presidential candidate, and also the chairperson for COP, a loose political party conglomeration. And with the many things them with the relationship between them, PPRC, and things that were very close to the woman in art. Let's not forget, tomorrow we get a program on the same EU we'll talk about shortly, the position where they give out to the government of Sierra Leone. And we will talk about the compact report, okay, the compact report. What is good in it? What is it that is not telling us? Not to waiting and tell we. We more want to look into waiting and not tell we. As a Sierra Leonean, them we want for inform on the issue they are. We also want for talk about Madam Lara Piastillo and all of these issues we need for talk about some of it here tonight. Unfortunately, for constraint, we will just brush over them. But tonight, Fambulem, we'll not forget for tuning on Monday, where we get a particular program day, and on Tuesday, we get Mr. Victor Ako-Mengot will be on this platform. So not touch that dial because it's going to be hot. Victor Ako-Mengot, of course, is a vehicle and road specialist. We can inform government and in fact, in a consultant with the World Bank. That's how heavy the brother is. And he's going to be on this platform. And we're going to talk about waiting happening on November 5, issues of either mitigating or preventing road disaster them, vehicle disaster them. So he will be on this platform on Tuesday. We'll not forget for tune in. But for tonight, we get Madam Femi Claudius Cole, and we are talking about many issues. And this takes us to COP26, if you remember, just a week ago. And in fact, I think it just come to an end and it'll be a week-long summit. Now, Glasgow, now something relating to climate change. And we president, of course, was in attendance with a delegation. We don't know who that all make up the delegation, but we know say half of the delegation were made up of family members in say. And our obligation for that, we tell the Sierra Leonean people what the actualities are. And this is it. However, when the presidents go to that particular summit day, it's still controversy as usual. And we want to ask Madam Femi Claudius Cole on issues relating to COP26 and climate change. And how possible it is, that we can sell Black Beach, Black Johnson. Yes, Black Johnson. And we fell a lot of logs and trees, if you know what I mean. And then we can come to climate and finding solutions to mitigating the deterioration of the climate so that we go get sustainable, whether we food chain we talk about or we see specimen them, but yet Black Johnson is gone. Help me for understand this, please, Madam Femi Claudius Cole.
But I want to say, and on this one, I don't think say we're there for really talk and fine, as it were. I thought that our president being at if I mean an advisor, the advisor and say, Panogo, stay home and send somebody who is really au fait with the topic. The interviews that he did, one part they associate my autumn force, I cover me first. I light him back, I list him back. I'm like, he didn't just say that. But you know what? A president, to be a good president doesn't mean you're going to be knowledgeable about everything.
No.
It is not possible. What you have are knowledgeable advisors who will advise and prep you before you go on an international stage and do what you did. So now we in Sierra Leone are really suffering the effects of climate change. So our presence at COP26 was necessary. We are not the main culprits, but we're suffering the effects. So if the advisors of the president were on their A game, either you prep him well, or you send a representative that can ably represent Sierra Leone. But what did we see? We saw him taking an interview where he was asked, you know, it make a member then picking in a school where the exam ask you one question, where that topic that you not study and laugh, you don't know nothing. You write 1.5 pages, but what do you know? They ask you what, but you write what kenema. Now I never studied, I mean they write. Then you take your F proudly and left the place. So it is sad. It is sad that on a global stage, he underperformed. And I will blame him to some extent, but I will blame his advisors even more. There are many presidents who didn't go to college, but they were good presidents. So we're not demanding that he be smart and be clever. We're demanding that his advisors prepare him well. There was a lack of preparation.
Yeah.
Secondly, this government, it has been said, the Africanist press has implied, the last Auditor General's report pointed us in the direction of a company called Leadway. They are the primary people that are cutting down all the trees in Sierra Leone. And it has been implied that there are ties to this regime within Leadway.
Yeah.
Secondly, it is under your watch that the timber that they should have paid per cubic foot for, they were paying per container. So that company, Leadway, owes Sierra Leone billions of dollars. Has the ACC pursued it? Have they? Then you sell prime beach property for fish processing. Black Johnson.
Allegedly.
We all spoke, we all talked, and nobody in the government took a blind bit of notice. The climate and the problems in Sierra Leone are there to be seen. What on earth are we as a country? Instead, you are there highlighting when they say that they caught 3 illegal, you say, I don't know. Well, if I don't know, I will go pursue them. Shame on you, Mr. President. Shame on you, sir. Shame on you. So what do you say about the illegal mining? You don't know about that too. So, Mr. President, I ask, in your 31-car motorcade, what do you know about what's going on in Sierra Leone? I beg to ask. I mean no disrespect, but I am a citizen that loves her country, and I will not be afraid to call you out.
Yep. And
on that same platform was the mayor of Freetown excelling, on point with her questions, engaging. And this is the very same mayor who's planting the trees.
Yep.
And that was the only thing that you could say that equated to climate change. We are planting trees. I went to that summit. I went to that launching. I launched something like that. Yes, and that is the reason why you shouldn't vilify the mayor, because you are able to use the mayor's accomplishment to speak of it on a public stage.
Yeah.
Now that make una for put an under waiting the woman they do. Instead, over some silly boy abuse crap, you have a CA who does not read emails and you're supporting him. You have a minister of local government who is holding a woman of high integrity, a woman of innovation, a woman who is far-sighted. You've called her to ACC now 3 or 4 times.
So we come to that, Femi, you know, because under the ACC, you want lump, you know, yeah, the mayor and Dr. Samora Kamara as well. So you'll come to that. But you made some points there, and those points are well noted. But one thing again, you know, yeah, what we want to say before we move away from the climate change, you know, yeah, sort of talk, because of course you've already said it almost all. Now, the president in frequent flying, realizing that they create a carbon footprint in all of this flying way they do. And a reporter actually put him on the spot and say, Mr. President, you people, and they say X, Y, Z. And the president, we all don't hear what the president say. And the reporter yes, maybe with bicycle or what have you. Come on, this is our president. Your view, please.
The president was asked about his carbon footprint.
Yeah.
And the question was in place. You have extended the cabinet. You have more ambassadors. Country they will no one they fly go, we get ambassador then they. You have all these people. You have ministers and cabinet ministers and deputy 1, deputy 2, deputy 3, deputy 4. These are people of your embassies. You do not need to fly everywhere to repair our image abroad when the people back home are starving. The people back home are homeless. The people back home cannot afford on their salaries to buy a bag of rice. We'll not talk about plazas. There is enough work for you to do at home. But to me, I think our president simply does not get it. He doesn't get it. Why on earth you would come back from a COP26 summit where you are asked about your carbon footprint and you come home, and just the other day I counted a 31-car convoy.
Yeah.
So your carbon footprint at home on a daily basis, going to work, coming home from work, his carbon footprint is already phenomenal. And then you add the flights. Yeah. This is a government that is wasteful. This is a government that doesn't care about you and I. This is a government that's in it for themselves and for themselves alone. And okay. All the SLPP supporters out there can cost me, mama. I will show them in mama engraved, they can go there, they go cost them back. I don't care, but the truth is, it was Mother's Sierra Leone to fix. It was a golden opportunity for him
New direction.
It was a golden opportunity for those who said he couldn't, those who said he wouldn't. It was a golden opportunity. But then we heard from his own lips, he will only engage people he knows. That is, so what do you expect? He has to travel with his family. These are the ones that he knows.
Okay.
And the rest of us will eat lafidi and pepper.
And even the lafidi and pepper now, it asked for let you get the money for buying you 5,000 or 10,000, like they call on one board or two board. Yes. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We are talking with none other. We promised Una that I was going to be straight talking, and I shall say Una not disappointed at all. We are talking with a 2018 presidential female candidate and the leader of COP, a loser association of this imagine in a patriarchal society, and she's none other but Madam Femi Claudius Cole. Again, we'll not forget we do advert na the program. If you want for advertise on our businesses, when I get in touch with we, the information is bottom on the scroll or text, and we do birthdays, we do businesses, and etc. Get in touch with the Then and Now Media Empire today. On tomorrow, they do a solo, they call them a solo, in which we go look at the EU report, what it mean. We go actually look at the compact, the NCC report. We know the good things where they inside, and the government is highlighting all of those, but we also want to talk about waiting the net they tell we, the Sierra Leonean people. This will be we focus on tomorrow. And on Tuesday, we get the specialist in terms of vehicle and safety, Mr. Mengot, will be on this platform, and we go talk a lot. We go look at in BBC interview, we go look at Umaru Fofana in own interview, or in report rather, where he make to Al Jazeera and the BBC. But for tonight, the reality is we've got Madam Femi Claudius Cole. Let me, Claudius Cole, there is a lot ongoing on the social front, some of which you've spoken of already, and whether or not the homelessness, whether or not issues with disabled people, whether or not issues, we get for do, generally with economics, the cost of living, if you will like. And I would like to let you weigh in this conversation because this is serious. I know say when we talk about the recent accident, one of the things then where you highlight is the issue of poverty. Now, poverty is the driving factor to the issues then where they happen. But in a bigger picture, you also get homelessness, the disabled problem, them, and bigger social problems them. So giving you perspective, if you will, on the issues of all anything that we just talk about, homelessness, disablement, unemployment, we can factor inside the economic problem as well.
And it's a serious problem, a really big problem. And we accept, say, we get global shocks. We get global shocks.
Yeah.
We get, with the COVID pandemic, the whole world don't change. It really don't change. So we will blame them up to a certain degree and say on some areas there's validity because every country where you go now, everybody is complaining. Yeah. Prices are going up everywhere. But I still, despite that, I feel say measures the way this government can take for pushing the shocks then they. The cost of living. Look at it on a simplistic level. For goods that are grown at home, homegrown goods, home fish when not to fish we can buy cartoon, fish way fishermen then self they go fishing. Yeah. How come those items are also crazy expensive? This month, now we month for enjoy pepper at 3,000 per cup. Pepper went up to 10,000. Me from when they cook was small, 1976. I not ever know pepper reach 10,000 a cup. So there are things that are negatively impacting them prices then they, which I think I was on a program on AYV with the Minister of Trade, and we discussed this. A bag of coal right in the village, dry season at 8,000 for bag. I know because when I go on my missions, I buy. Rainy season, if you go right inside the village, I will buy 10,000 per bag. But a bag of coal is almost 50,000 in town.
Goodness me.
Okay, so we know say the cost of fuel don't impact them. Understandable. The government came in with a promise of reducing the toll gate fees, especially for the one where they bring the coal, bring the rest, bring the cassava, bring sweet potato, bring the goods. Every single toll on a one-way journey, there are 3 tolls. You they pay 183,000 leons per toll. So when people they don't get them produce, say na mango, whether na lamb, whether na orange, number one, the trucks not go take them and load them, they pass the truck down full. And they themselves have to then pay a portion added to their other costs for the toll. So you get the increased fuel, now na 10,000. You then get the increased toll. Toll not exist in those days. So we now get the increased toll fees, which is almost 600, say 500 and something thousand for one way. And when it go back, whether it go back empty or full, he will still pay that amount of money. If it go back for go pick load, if it go back for go take coal. So you're looking at a 1.2 million for a 2-way journey for that trailer day or that entire day for coal. So that is one. So we have the fuel, we have the cost of the toll, and then you have another huge factor. Bribery and corruption at the checkpoints. The bribery and corruption at the checkpoints, especially for those carrying goods, is of a different magnitude. It is of a scary magnitude. So by the time they have encountered all those costs, it is reflected at the market. So we are not going to blame it on the increased container fees, on that situation. We're not going to blame them on increased container fees. These are now generated expenses that they can bring under control. Consequently, you they end up where you they come, you they end up they see Makituma them, they don't bag them. If na Casada, they don't bag them. If na Lem, they don't bag them. Whatever, they don't bag them. They're sitting by the side of the road. Sometimes by the terminating and they come where you can go to off court. If na mango season, if you buy mango carpet, you the mass what in mango like I say they lay on the carpet or linoleum. Same for Lem. You the see usai Lem they watching. You ask it well. So those expenses for those losses have to be reflected in their market price. So those are areas where this government, this Ministry of Trade can take under control. These are not stuff where they blame Wataki. We are not blaming elevated container prices, fees. We're not. These are homegrown expenses which can be controlled. The police should no longer be an SME. Una not to business enterprise. You are a force for good. Middle day inside motorcar, outside then they harass a man where they bring a container of coal. I can't do me motorcar, I go put me nose inside other business. It's a body super smack. Then they take so much money from them that it is reflected where you go for go buy you want plastic bowl, for can cook you want pot plasas, it is reflected to you. So it cascades down, all the way down the chain. And then you have Wataki. Don't get me started on Wataki. That is a place where they get for focus attention. That is a place where una where they abroad now, they bring them things and come for we. Ask anybody who ships what they go through to clear a container. Why should it have to be this painful? Why do our traders have to leave Sierra Leone and go to Conakry to go and shop? By right, in terms of the quality of our harbor, now you forbid the place where they can shop.
Yep.
We have to go deliberately out of our way to make doing business in Sierra Leone attractive. I know they talk about word talking, enabling environment does not exist for the business people. So Wataki should be looked at holistically. What is Bolori doing? What thing they do now? Yeah. How much value is Bolori adding? How much expense is Bolori adding that is cascaded down to the housewife, to the trader? I don't do a lot of research on the expenses. The amount of of money that trickles into holes when you ship your container, that doesn't go into government coffers. Is it that a blind eye is turned, or is it that the country too much for them for manage? If it's too much for them manage, well, we're not pushing no.
Okay, Femi. I like the way you put them. It's serious, but you make people still get them, because in the advent of the difficulty they are, people know need for go hang themselves, and we're not hanging ourselves. You know, we resolve is kind of strong, and with the hope for the better. When you talk about Bolori, and you talk about the port, for example, container services, I understand exactly what you mean, because once upon a time, they do business in Tongue while they ship containers and used cars. And I know what I go through. I can't explain more than you've done already. So I feel your pain, I feel the pain of the others, because Mina being once upon and part of the experience. Especially, like beyond 4 years ago, that's when I was doing that business, and that was under the All People's Congress government. So we expect, say, a new direction will lead people into a better direction. Unfortunately, it is something else.
They said new direction. Nobody said the right direction.
Well, will not be ketchup. That make them say kapu word. Kapu sense, not kapu word. Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. Not even me. And now when you say, I'm probably going fit of Heinz, and I will take this from you as well in me other talk the way I get for the get. They say new direction or right direction. I really love that. That's a good caption. Many thanks for that. If you can talk on unemployment, for 1 minute. View and how that they weigh in on the country and the difficulties the way we encounter.
The unemployment problem is a huge one. And I think an area that the government dropped the ball was their lack of collaboration. I'm not saying consultation on this occasion, collaboration. Let people, innovative people of different political parties, it doesn't matter, bring everybody together to see how can we change this. The level of unemployment here, especially young people, should give any government cause for concern. You pass, they go down bay, 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 12 o'clock in the afternoon, you they see man and they play draft. You they see man and they play, God. And not that you don't know, because you say it, that our biggest thing we have here is our human capital.
Yeah.
That we have no regard for. The way people and they beg in a free tongue, it is scary,
Yeah.
The people, the way they see the Bukana, you compound, me security will call me and Femi, one man come to you, I watch from me study, I see the man wearing some really sharp suit, maybe even has a tie on, and I'm thinking, maybe the guy one can rent me or something. They can lay some cash on me. I rush left with I do. I rush go na door. When you get outside, when you get to talk with him, he go talk first on the phone, and they listen to you na radio, and they listen to you, and they enjoy you, and people like you relax. And he's engaging in very productive, intelligent conversation. And then at the end.
Okay. Many thanks for that, Femi. Let me just move on quickly because again, it seemed like we get for run this program for like 2 hours and we already don't do an hour and a half. Family want to continue for share with the top 2018 presidential candidate, female candidate, Femi Claudius Cole, and also the chairperson for COPPP. Femi, if you can talk to us about earlier on you mentioned something about the police and the police SME, small and medium term enterprise, I believe that's the meaning of SME. There are many issues when it comes to the police, but the police, I understand you, they say it's not a force for good. Is it an issue of few bad apple, or is it the police itself? Are we talking about reforms, or what's your view generally about the police? Whether in a land business or other business, the way the police kind of involved in issues of injustice. Give you perspective, if you will, please.
The unseen hand again. The unseen hand. That government hand in influence. It is there. They may not want to say it, but it is there. So when you have that unseen hand manipulating the whole institution, taking it down different paths, you're going to have disorganization, you're going to have criminality, you are going to have bribery, you are going to have marginalization, you are going to have people being promoted who do not deserve promotion, you are going to have, and again, I'm not going to throw away the baby with the bathwater. There are some good officers there. And I engage them a lot all the time. There are some good senior policemen that they themselves are being marginalized. There are those who, because they want to call you favor, for those who want to be promoted, will look away when the wrong things are being done.
Yeah.
Then it filters from the leadership all the way to the policemen on the ground. Why during the day, policeman and then are all junction, policeman and they SLIA, traffic police, then CFDD, are they there to really monitor traffic? I kid you not, sir. They monitor traffic for let it pass, where they go work in the morning, and where the party can home for let it count on it.
Okay.
Those key areas are when you see a high traffic. Even them, because even where that accident took place, if our police were patrolling as they should, officers there should have called the alarm and called them off area.
Okay, Madam Femi, Claudius, cool. Just for the reasons of time constraint, because I wonder we cover a few other issues and then we close this program in 2 hours and we get less than 30 minutes for go. I've been expecting 1 hour 20 program, but it's so interesting and people are interacting. I just want to read a quick comment from your friend when you try to get in contact with when I'm Mr. Victor Akomengot, who is watching this particular program. So you might be interested for know that they watch the program. Yes, okay. If they watch the program and I want to read the comments quickly, which is Victor Akomengot says, to create employment, we need to enforce existing laws. For example, if we enforce the law on roadworthiness, for example, tests you spoke about, then think about many jobs that we could create as a consequence of creating whether or not mechanic them and other people them. All public transport have to have twice yearly tests. Twice yearly tests. This will force public transport operators to repair their vehicles in readiness for the test. So, Madam Femi Claudius Cole, your friend, Mr. Akomengot, is watching the program and he even comment and I comment now. Yes. Have you any perspective? Yeah.
I agree with Mr. Mengot. I quite agree with him that is an area where jobs can be created because even with the city council, they have a lot of vehicles that are there and maintenance, all those buses. You remember them Boku buses who been bringing camp, we been get all them people the name rights, and a fine one, they're all wrecked. So yes,
hold on. You mean the recent one, not to the APC one them?
The APC one them or some of the recent one them or look them they.
Okay, so
yes.
Almost a repeat. Okay.
Yes, so it is good that if we can have that culture of maintenance. And what he's saying, I agree with also, then you can have proper training. You can go side and the pool and walk past you been care and go say for good. And when it comes to the whole traffic thing, I quite agree with him in that testing should be rigorous. My complaint in terms of the SLIA thing was the driving school provision that you are insisting on. Except what I said in my piece, that area you couldn't play was that first, if they don't begin for setup, then you're driving school, they don't full blow the weight for bus week. Why would you make it mandatory? Going to driving school doesn't mean that the person can drive when they come out. That I have attested to. So that is the only portion that I have a problem with.
Okay,
other
Femi,
than that, I think
okay, Femi, for the benefit
roadworthy.
For the benefit of the doubt, that part the way you will be unfair. Let me see whether we.
So that person we want to take driving license na Kabbalah, na Falaba, they teach how to drive. Thirdly, now una no full well say work noddy. Beaucoup of we young man and we young woman there now, they have some they drive keke, some they drive taxi, some they drive poda. If una can put all their lordy, say that young man where they come up, he want for say, la go drive, good drive. Una don't make the driver's license, first of all, over 400,000. Then you dey tell her now, say, if I go back na driving school, go pay over 1 million. For let learn how for drive before ever una dey get a license. That portion dey, the good work wey una don do, we tell una thank you. That portion dey of that policy dey, I want tell una say it's bad. Ask the young man them, una go do a survey, how una manage for afford una license. Let una hear the way how them young man struggle for able for afford for getting driver's license. So the part where we they complain to, where me they cry to una for, now follow una last time we say power person for go driving school. If the person go learn for drive, as I say, he let na babu teacher how for drive, and he teach am well. He be a safe driver. Where he can to una make now sure say una testing incredible. You know they go get sit down and host, he do test. Let them can they una get a proper test, make you able to assess the safety of the road user. Who say he go learn not to una concern, not to una your issue, except if una want tell we say SLRA they don't make business inside business, get driving school all over the place. Una angry they wait for this policy for go into effect. If not, if una left and how we dey so, I want for call una attention. Say this will be an avenue for corruption. Whereby that one may not get money for go driving school, they go bribe who that to get for bribe for making paper. We don't want a case where everything becomes corrupted. Let it be clear. You pay for your driving test. You pay for your driving test. You pay for your driver's license. So, Mr. Minister, Honorable Cabinet, this message at the brand can you foot. That portion of that policy, una think through and through.
So that is it for me. We played the entire tape, you know, so we not left anything out for Bambai.
Yes.
And
Yes.
you're a well-spoken woman, and it's like I like the part again where except they don't do business inside business, driving school inside driving school. I love that. And I can assure you, say, when I host Mr. Mengot on Tuesday, I go bring this calm into play and ask the questions. Hopefully you do watch and see Mr. Mengot in response. But we need for move on. I wonder we'll go to the judiciary quickly. One moment they wanted within the judiciary clean, the independence, and etc. And another on another end, and things the way you don't articulate, as well as myself, they tell where we go school now free time, waiting we learn, now civic responsibility. And I think saying that the driving force behind them of the age and caliber as at this particular time. For whole we leaders them into account, no fear for ask the right question, not to fiti, not just question how we ask. So in this sense, Kamamba Mansare, for example, na the case that we define this we judiciary for this particular decade. I want to call on the case of the decade.
Yes.
They hold this man for 15 months. 15 months.
Yes.
And this man, not to just any ordinary man, he is, I don't care how you want for see him. He got a political party we register and a very meaningful now with political discourse. He was on that stage outside the current president, Binde, when they determined who that get for Occupy State House. He was there. He answered questions. He was there face to face. 15 months he's been in incarceration, Madam Femi Claudius Cole. The thing where beggars believe is a judge has issued a bail. And we understand, say, this in condition, a bailable condition, but yet 15 months he continued for language in jail. So despite a judge issued bail, yet it's been denied. Femi Claudius Cole, we fumble them when they listen to we now, over 100 of them, and the thousands of others we get for listening to you subsequently as a consequence of this program. What did this mean for the judiciary and what actually they go on?
The unseen hand again, sir. The unseen hand. I get a call a few weeks back from a distraught mother, very distraught mother, because my sister and I'm in chairman for Rainbow, then he missed me too. So he called me, they rape him Pekin, small Pekin.
Goodness.
He said, Mommy, look, the one left the man. They said that they left the man. She was in Kailau, some village in Kailau.
Yeah.
So I put things in motion for let me check. Can you believe that man has been granted bail as I'm speaking to you now, he has been bailed. This is the rape of a small child. So we look at Kamaremba's situation. Kamaremba's situation is a clear manifestation of the unseen hand. Of the unseen hand. And it is a human rights violation. And when EU pull reports, una vex. They vex. This man has met his bail conditions. You have no reason other than politics to keep him incarcerated. How does it? I am shocked. I am disappointed. I have very little faith in the Sierra Leone judiciary. This is the Sierra Leone judiciary when I hear we will send judges to Ghana. I hear we will send judges to Gambia.
Absolutely. Yeah.
What a massive, massive disappointment. What an utter disgrace.
Femi,
Where, as a country, are we heading?
Yeah.
Justice is delayed. Justice is denied. And that is why people will say at times, the law is an ass.
Okay, Femi, I want to let you hold your thoughts there, because again, why should they express something very serious? And this is a core of yours that somehow you can manage to infuse something, a light-hearted humor inside it, where despite the despondency, people can manage to put a smile on their face because you get to live with it. Many thanks for that. But on the same basis, in terms of the judiciary and the Kamaremba case, Femi, you are a member of the opposition and you had a serious body call, and this could be you. How serious do you take this thing? I mean, the interpretation of the law is so consequential in this particular time, but to some people, it's so inconsequential. It's like saying, incidents not there, nothing of this kind don't happen. Where are we heading, Femi? Please, provide some perspective again, if you will.
We are heading, we are not heading, we are already there. We have arrived. Trust me, sir, we have already arrived at a very dark place in Sierra Leone. I mean, we're writing the history of Sierra Leone. And it is such a, for me, there are days when I think about it. I think it can be me in Kamaremba's position. And sometimes I question, and my children ask me, Mommy, if they kill you, say now we no more go suffer. All man go come, then go sign condolences book.
Yeah, for a while.
Some man they come for the repast to eat in one pack fried rice with fried chicken.
In one food chicken.
He take in one can soft and go fetch for answer. He say, Mommy, but at the end of the day,
goodness
now
me.
we go suffer.
Yeah.
Now we go suffer. Because you will ask, will the women march for you? No, they will not. They will stand by you. I stand by this and I stand by that. I stand by. The women will simply stand by. So for me, I know the risk I take with my own life and my own liberty. But there comes the point in an era when somebody has to stand up, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
We cannot all retreat into our shell of safety and complain when we go to parties and post on Facebook. There comes a point when you realize, if I'm the only one talking, then so be it. And before ever I engage in anything, I always put God first. I said, God, you give me the words, you give me the protection, but I need to speak. I speak for those who have no voice, for those who lay on the park benches, who sleep under the market table there, who have no hope. And I look at the children and I am full of emotion. What Sierra Leone are we living for these kids? Come on, what is their future?
Yeah.
Even for graduates, what is their future? Can we all turn mumu? But my situation will be different to somebody else's situation. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For me, I have had a good life. I am in it to see a change. And change comes at a price. What did we do and what did we go suffer? Can we compare to what others suffered? Some were executed. Some were tortured and executed for speaking the truth. Mandela spent 25 of his best years incarcerated. So the risks that we take on a scale of 1 to 10 is nothing compared to what others have endured. So I keep going and I keep talking. So if you want, whatever I think happens in the future, history will be that judge to say there were those who spoke up, who were not scared, who did not hide behind their finger, who called them out. And I will be among those.
Okay, Femi. You make me feel a bit sentimental. You just say it's so philosophical, and this will come to pass. And that is it. It's about posterity. It's about the future. It's about legacy. Long after we've gone, what did you do? What did you left behind? Because obviously, that can occupy these positions that we occupy now. What did you do for provider platform day for letting them occupy them with that kind of smoothness? And I find this, really kind of sentimental and it kind of personal to me. And you make me feel so personal about this particular kind of subject. Before I left you on the issue of the judiciary, I want to let you rub more, possibly for 60 seconds, if you will, on the Prince Harding case, for example, because this also got to do with the judiciary. Yes, and as you do a comparative analysis of others and others, if you like. Weigh in on the Prince Harding case for me quickly. We say they shoot somebody in the back. Yeah, go on.
And this incident is a hearsay incident, but there were people who were present.
Yep.
If you can give an order, you claim to have gotten rid of the death penalty, but what are we seeing now? We're seeing blatant assassinations. This is more dangerous. Before that, left the death penalty, a man has to go through the court system, be found guilty, and then executed. But what we're seeing now is, you say the wrong thing, you are in the wrong place at the wrong time, and you're dead. And he spent a night in CID for an alleged murder or an accessory to murder. He spent one night in CID, and Kamarimba for an alleged penetration. He spent 15 months. He has been granted bail and it has been denied. So what justice? Whose justice? Where is the justice? For as long as it's corrupted, it is no longer, we can no longer say we have a judiciary. We don't. We have people masquerading up in ancient wigs. They pass up and down like Fatima was calling themselves what I don't know. They are not, that is not the law. That is not justice. And that cannot be a judiciary. We are pretending, so will they play us, will they play country?
Okay, Femi, again, many thanks. Pambulem, we come almost to the conclusion of this very, very interesting conversation with a 2018 female presidential candidate and leader, chairperson, a loose conglomeration of political party, them, none other but Madam Femi Claudius Cole. And this now the then and now media empire. If you could do one last sharing, that will be appreciated. Many thanks. We obviously know, say, thousands of people are going to watch this on a global, and as we speak now, of course, we get roughly about 120, 130. Not very clear to me, but we get over the 100, you're kind of watching, and as we share, you get a multiplier effect, and that's quite critical for the message to be heard. Madam Femi Claudius Cole, earlier on, you talk about the matching of women. This brings me to the very issue, because there are many issues every day. Sometimes tomorrow, as we grab again, there will be a new issue. But the issue now on board is that of the indefinite suspension of the Auditor General of the Sierra Leone Audit Services, ASSL. A woman will get credence in many respects from which we don't read, and some of una, and particularly you be, you're very close to them, you probably have a relationship with them, but what we know from the public domain, professionally speaking, she's very credible, and she's been so for over 10, 15 years. Association or the department or industry where this particular woman lead, it's been a credible one, not only by our own standard and not only domestic standard, but by international standards. That even defeat one of our international partners in terms of democracy is very central to this particular agency of government when at the audit services of Sierra Leone. What we then see quite recently is this woman, a distinguished Sierra Leonean, being suspended from her services. We know they say she's indispensable human being. She does suffer, but professionally speaking, what has that got to do, or how much of it get to do with the indefinite suspension as the President of the Republic of Sierra Leone, His Excellency, ex-Brigadier Julius Madabio, who recently where he suspended him indefinitely for how much of this in your opinion you think is political, is professional, and is this the right path down the decline of we democracy as we subject matter for tonight? What's your view?
My view is, if it has fur all over, if it wags its tail, if it looks like a dog, and it barks like a dog, you bet your money it's a dog.
Yeah, I love that. I will give you a chance for go on again because you've answered it, but I will give you a chance for go on.
For those who don't understand where I'm coming from, I will extrapolate. I go make my own conclusion. I don't know any details. I haven't discussed this with anyone. I have listened to the news like you have, like the whole of Sierra Leone has. Something they nada reports where question they whether Mamido ask them. Question them they. We make them don't get rombele. That rombele where Imodium not a stop. So before then can toilet panel say follow for Sierra Leone, then decide say we go kill the messenger. This is a clear indication that this government that came in to block leakages, that came in for transparency, that came in for accountability, is no better than any previous administration that Sierra Leone has had the misfortune of being under. It means that there are financial improprieties of a monumental scale. For a month to the release of a report, you slaughter the messenger and the messenger in deputy. That means I smell a cover-up.
Okay, Femi. The issue of the ASSL boss, now one whole subject matter of itself, and unfortunately, we don't fast run out of time. We're on the 2-hour mark. But I want to make you use the next 5 minutes for closing this program. Lara Piastillo, do you think she will be returned? Because after all, now suspension is an indefinite suspension, and it depends on the reaction of the people. And this is my question, because I know say many times, una the woman them, una don't show solidarity with other women them, whether not the Marcela Samba Sisseys of Sierra Leone, whether not the Yvonne Akisoyas of Sierra Leone, and many others, una don't show solidarity. Waiting is that planned, marching for Madame Lara Piastillo, because exactly. She probably will not return, but again, certainly una test 9 people like in the test for see reaction, even though this government seem like when they determine for do something, whatever the case, whatever una say, it will pass. But is there any plans? Are there any plans for show solidarity with or una go just sit down and watch and wait the next casualty, which might be you, which might be Yvonne, and so forth and so on? Are there any plans, Femi?
You say something, say we the woman and he usually react. Our reaction, the women, I would ask at this juncture, being a woman herself, that I myself am sitting on a hot seat. I will ask the women. I will ask the 100 influential women, the 50 influential women. Are we all going to sit and watch? Because don't tell me you posted on Facebook. We are posting on Facebook. We stand with Lara. Yeah. Is that where it begins? Is that where it ends?
Yeah,
I throw the question to us, the women. If Femi dey jail, anybody go come, I will not hold my breath. I tell you honestly.
Yeah.
So I would like to see if there are meetings being held. I mean, say what you may with regards to Miss Sylvia Blyden. What did the women do then? What did the women do when Sylvia was held? So we talk the talk. Will we march? If called upon to march, will we march? I will be more than happy to lead. Will others follow? Will they follow? That is the $50 million question.
And that's the $50 million question. And before I depart from that $50 million question, you mentioned a name, Dr. Sylvia Blyden, when she was arrested, when she was incarcerated. Pardon me. Did the women march? Did they show solidarity? Is Dr. Sylvia Blyden bitter? Because, of course, she appeared to be a controversial person, even as we speak of Lara Pias. Dr. Sylvia Blyden, they articulate something out there where most of we not get, whether it's justifiable in what the president did and whether they follow constitutional authority. Your view again quickly, please. 1 minute.
For me, if we're going to stand together as women, I may not like you. You may not like me, and you don't need to like me, but we will stand because of our girls, our baby girls, our teenage girls, our young girls. Because whatever we do, we're teaching them. We're teaching them. We are supposed to lead so they can follow in our footsteps. So they have to see us being a little bit brave. They have to see us being a little bit brave. I remember when we marched, I was young then. Elections before peace before elections. Do you remember?
Yes,
I was in Sierra Leone then.
Yep.
The women marched. And contrary to popular opinion, the Constitution says you simply inform the authorities that we need your protection. We are marching. The Constitution not say, Savola, can we march? No. We will not cut and paste the Constitution. Okay. We will not cut and paste.
Okay, Femi.
So
I like this one where you say. I like this one where they say we will not cut and paste the Constitution, and that speaks volume. Again, we at the end of this conversation, just one or two quick things just for wrap up. A quick perspective of yours on Chernobyl, of course, Africanist press. We say Chernobyl because there are others, but Chernobyl is more the Sierra Leonean face in terms of the Africanist press. Please, let me hear your opinion about the Africanist press.
As far as the Africanist press is concerned, and Chernobyl, I want to give him kudos. I want to thank him, and I support him. And I am disappointed that we are not more shocked about what he has presented to us.
Mm-hmm.
He's giving us food for thought. Are we thinking? Are we eating? Are we digesting the food he's giving us? He has opened up the SLPP Pandora box for us to see. Why does it appear as if it is water on a duck's back? I thank him and I pray he continues so that we will be able to see exactly the pictures that they try to hide from us.
Yeah.
The monies that they are spending as if Madam Papa died left and give them. I thank him for the work that he does. Let God cover him and cover his family. And
Wow.
sir, some of us appreciate the work he does, and please keep us informed. We appreciate it, and Sierra Leone needs it.
Okay, many thanks, Madam Femi Claudius Cole. And as we come to the end of this program, I shall say, Chair, they watch the program as well. So it you direct. And that's a good expression of sentiment. And that gratefulness as well. This nine and teach we, we cannot age group up in the come of being grateful, not to mommy cause business. Now, matter of respect, you can look na big one, in face, and then wanna have a conversation around issues. So many thanks for that. If you can weigh in on this again quickly, maybe 30 seconds on political party them. And the reason why they ask you this, because you do have a political party. You know how to create a political party. And why do I say this? You have one. You register one. You know the procedure and processes. But it's political parties only about, or we know say not so only about elections. There are other things as well. But what we see in your political party then is like they are only about elections. For example, why do I say this? During the last elections, there were 17 or so political party then. Only 4 of them happened, probably for obvious reasons. But after the elections, we barely hear about all the others, maybe 12, 13 of them. Where are they? Should they only be about elections, or there are other things political party they can do?
I think there are other things political parties therefore do, and some political parties are engaged in other things. Especially the political parties who are engaged in COP, we really have a completely different focus. Just a couple of days ago, we just do a handing over where we as COP, now all money donates for the patients in the hospital, but we took a different initiative. We decided we would go thank the health workers, and we did it as COP. And I really want to appreciate all the members of the consortium to say that it has given politics a different face. It has given politics a more collaborative face, where you don't have to be fighting the battle all alone in silo. Now that we have come together, we can really begin to exchange ideas, bring ideas together, and every political party brings a strength. Some people are good at oratory, some people are good at writing, some people are good at representing, some people are just amazing at being present. We have areas where we support, where we go and give our support. And I make one phone call, I make 2 phone calls, and the entire COP shows up to support whatever issue. When we were in Parliament, we were objecting to the appointment of Zainabus Mosie. The entire COP was in-house. So we are now going through a period of evolving. We're really evolving as political parties and beginning to learn that there's more that we have in common than we have to be dividing, so that our politics and our society can change. Where after election, we don't get for nactamatis cup for me, and we don't get for nactamatis cup for you, and don't get for worker with coffee. I mean, we're trying to see if we can practice a slightly different flavor of politics, whereby it doesn't matter which tribe you are. In COP, we don't even know, we don't care. So I am so I'm so appreciative of the fact that they chose me to be the chairperson, and they have given me that responsibility. I cherish it and I take it very seriously. I will forgo all other duties just to focus on matters relating to COP, even my own political party. Luckily for me, I now have a team that is very, very strong. And the other day they came to see me and said, hey, mommy, this COP. All thing now, COP. I said, look, that's the bigger picture. I said, but you guys are doing fine. Yesterday, then go Cambia, the other day, then go put local, and they're doing excellently. Will they put fertilizer on the party they grow, and I am grateful for that. I said, but COP now is the future of the new Sierra Leone that we are all dreaming about. It has to start with COP. So when they watch the party, we they watch them.
Okay.
So I'm very grateful.
Okay, Femi. There were many questions again. You see, whenever you express your opinion, perspective on issues, it just open up more questions that I can want to ask. But I will have to bring you again because it's obvious that there are areas where we know, sort of concentrate or expose or expand on. But that would be for another day. As we've come to the end of this particular very, very interesting program, I want to give you the floor finally for close the program on the basis Fambulem. We posit, we propagate, we say that with Democracy Day in decline, or it was much more like a question. And inside this particular question where we ask, there were many things that we discussed, which is all Sierra Leonean, with 2018 presidential female candidate and leader or chair of COP, where it just talked about within the last 1 minute. So we don't come to the end of this program, but as usual, what we do on this platform, now for finally give we guest the honor for let it close the program. In other words, wrap up everything and things then probably we forget or we get on chest, we want to say. Madam Femi Claudius Cole, please.
I not go able for left you show without another Motman corner.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. Not even the 019, I suppose. Goodness me. Yes. Anyway, you got the floor. Thank you very much.
For the one that we don't know,
yep.
Then just get a by-election na corner. The game we play na corner very similar to the game we play na constituency 110. It is cause for sleepless nights. Waiting with a CISO, we play na Koenadugu, waiting play na corner, waiting play na constituency 110, na the bachelor's age. 2023 na the married. If fine for le, we all begin for monitor, observe, and be concerned about the safety of the Republic of Sierra Leone. For those who are partisan, for me party I go die. No, you won't. No, you shouldn't. You can die for your kids. You can die for your mama. But whatever you do, don't die for any political party. And it is time for us to begin to think differently. For those who think that even in the midst, even when the wrongdoing is glaring, I don't go come on behind the party. I want you to sit and think and reflect on this, our one and only Sierra Leone. Whatever we do now will set the tone for our children and grandchildren. I don't think it is too much for us to plead that we leave them a Sierra Leone. It's a global village. If we are now a country of beggars, with 100 people, 200 people are injured. We need help to come from Mars. Doctors to come, gauze, bandages, ointments, antibiotics. If people they not can help we cannot leave them that Sierra Leone. In a country that God himself specifically crafted and made and gave us everything in abundance. Whether you live in Australia, whether you live in the UK, whether you live in Sierra Leone, at the end of the day, your children, your grandchildren, their roots are here. Why don't we put heads together, put our hearts together to make this Sierra Leone one that when we die, our children will go to our graves and pour libation. The way we're going now, they will go to our graves and spit on us. When they will read the history of our immediate post-colonial days, when Sierra Leone was the Athens of Africa. Athens of what? This is our time. Let us take off our rose-tinted glasses and just call things by their proper names. If that's the only thing we take away from today, let that be it. And leave our kids a Sierra Leone for which they can come back home, they can feel they own it, they can be proud of it, and we can be able to hold our heads up high in the globe and say we are Sierra Leoneans. Not always with the shame. It's too much. I thank you.
Yes. It's a glorious end to a very fantastic program. Just for summarize with Madam Claudius, school say at the end of this program, we're very important, and that will be repeated. And we will cut this. We will cut this particular portion at the end of this program, which is say in summary, and we go Shebam far and wide, and Una go be a participant for Help for Shebam. What did she say? Let us sit down and think as Sierra Leoneans then. Waiting we get for left behind as a matter of legacy for we granting them. Just a paraphrase waiting Madam Femi Claudius Cole said. We get over 200 injured, and these are the most recent incidents. But waiting with the call they ask for. How are we actively participating? How proactive are we? We need gauze bandages. We need bandages. We need antibiotic. We need medication generally for all people injured. What are we doing? What are you doing? I'm pointing to you as a Sierra Leonean. And equally so that comes to me. What am I doing as a Sierra Leonean? What is she doing as a Sierra Leonean? She's already articulated that, and we know waiting and undo as a political leader. Why don't we put to resources we voices them? Why can't we be proud of we country? How can we make the difference? Once upon a time, we were the anthems of West Africa. Where are we today? I mean, as she speaks, I relate to her in terms of age, because I went, here to school at the time where they talk about. I went to Cathedral Boys School. I went to Holy Trinity. I went to Albert Academy at the time when there was mutual respect, there was decency, there was food on the table, where people will go to work and then come back and people respect each other. But we live in different times. What are we doing now? What's in our legacy? How will they defend that? How will they define that? Waiting with the left behind for the country, I think say now the most critical question or perspective. Now in Madam Femi's Claudius Cole just don't left and programming tonight. They left for we picking them. When they ask the question, what did you do? What you left behind? Even before they ask, then get for see, then get for feel, then get for touch. It has to be of substance. Many times we don't express ourselves or ourselves in many ways. We don't talk a lot. Action time is just around the corner. Don't be fooled. You can fool some people sometime. You can fool some of the people sometime, but you cannot fool all of the people.
All the people. All the time.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Madam Femi School. We appreciate you being on the program here tonight. This is not the second time you've been on the Empire, especially this time that you first time alone, but this definitely not to you last time. And we hope for talk to you again very, very soon, because there are issues that we will not on, and we definitely get for bring you again for let you can talk about them. So Fambule, once again, do you want to allow we give them up for Madam Femi Claudius Cole? She's been absolutely articulate, and I enjoy every bit and we can't go beyond this. So now I make we get for Brian come again that can help we for understand exactly the things we try for articulate at this point in time. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Then and Now Media Empire and effective full program. Now let we help for shape around the all manieri within the Mamibi say today. Very important. And as I say, I just look for the closing program. Now if I repeat myself, dear una forgive me. And here we are. Let me see whether within this thing see. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. We've come to the end of the program. Many thanks and good night to everyone. Good morning. Good